Greetings from Tokyo, my dear friends. This is Daisuke, and I very much hope that this video finds you well and in very good spirits wherever you are in the world. And today, if you don't mind, I would very much like to continue on our journey and discussion through the set from the Criterion Collection released earlier this year in 2020, which is called The Complete Films of Agnes Varda. And today I'd like to focus our attention on that disc in the set, which is referred to as Program 11. And that Program 11 is given the title of Simon Cinema. This Program 11 disc is called Simon Cinema, and the film that is featured on this Program 11 disc is described as being from 1995, and it is called Les 101 Nuits, or in English, 101 Nights. This is a story that is in essence about a very fascinating, enigmatic figure named Simon Cinema, played with great energy and delight by the one, the only Michel Piccoli. And we have his relationship with a film student and the various discussions and situations and scenarios that they have with each other and with many other people that form part of the fabric of this film, with regard to this thing that they love and we love, which is cinema. Yes, this is a film by Varda that is, in essence, a splendid festival like carnival, a celebration, if you will, of the greatness that is cinema. And it celebrates this in a myriad of ways. First of all, the film goes into this plot, if you will, as I say, about this figure, Simon Cinema, that seems to represent or somehow embody the spirit of cinema. He seems to know so many people that inhabit the film world and the cinematic icons, if you will. I'll get to that in a moment. And so that gives us the opportunity to explore and examine and celebrate cinema through this personage that is Simon Cinema, as I say, played by Michel Piccoli. Michel Piccoli, by the way, of course, is a legend. He is an icon of cinema, and he has such a deep connection with the world of the filmography of Agnes Varda, as we know, and also with other iconic landmark films. And so those, I believe, are referenced throughout this film, 101 Nights. Speaking of which, that is another way by which this film, I believe, celebrates cinema, which is that it goes to great lengths to try to recreate and pay respect to various different scenes of cinema, both by Agnes Varda and perhaps by other filmmakers. So if you spot, you can spot all these if you look carefully, all the little visual references and metaphors and homages to past works and past filmmakers. The film is filled with so many of these references, and so it becomes this treasure hunt of a delight of a film for anyone who is a film goer and a lover of cinema, to sit down and watch this film and try to catch all of the various references. That's one of the great fun aspects of watching this film. And that is, as I say, one of the ways in which this film, I believe, is trying to celebrate cinema in this positive, fresh, and truly happy and vibrant way. Incidentally, along those lines, we do get a lot of references also to Agnes Varda's cinema herself. And so we get For instance, Vagabond is referenced, Cleo from 5 to 7 is referenced, other films are referenced here. And so that also becomes a lot of fun as well, not just for purposes of trying to catch the various cinematic references, but also trying to catch the various Agnes Varda cinematic references, which is so delightful. And please enjoy the film as you watch it, and try to catch all of these little homages to the cinematic past. Not just that, of course, but we have this great way that this film, via the dialogues between Simon Cinema and Camille and others, and the film students and the filmmaker's storyline, there are so many ways in which the dialogue scenes also are like these discussions that we would have, film lovers would have all over the world. And that's not just film lovers, but also people who are involved in the world of film, actors and filmmakers. And so we get these moments of dialogue that are absolutely just splendid and lovely and filled with so much charm. And they are the types of discussions that one would have with a fellow film lover about a particular film or a particular body of work by an actor or an actress that we are particularly fond of, etc. And so this becomes another wonderful parallel. Film lovers will recognize a lot about what's great about the study and pursuit of the cinematic journey, as I say, as embodied with such energy and respect and delight by Agnes Varda and friends here in this film, through the dialogue scenes. And not just that, of course, we get so many people, so many cameos and appearances by legends, icons of cinema, and they just appear and appear and appear, some for a very brief moment, and others maybe for a little bit more prolonged period of time. But nevertheless, this film has a long list of famous persons in the landscape of cinema, such that this spotting them all and recognizing them, that also is the fun. And seeing them either play themselves or maybe play another role, or maybe do a little bit of both. Maybe they are playing people who have their own names, but maybe their characters are slightly different than who they might be in real life. So that forms part of the playful aspect of this. We get real life personages, but having fun with this particular scenario. And that also gives rise, I think, a lot to the idea of reality and fiction. As I say, these people sometimes are playing themselves, but we also know that they are acting in a particular scenario or scene or setup by Varda in this particular film. That is a fantasy, and a lovely and wonderful fantasy that is meant, as I say, to celebrate the beauty and delight and wonder that is cinema in this carnivalesque, celebratory type of manner. And so we get this beautiful blend of truth and fiction, which, as we have seen in Varda's works up to now, is something that Varda, the filmmaker, is very much concerned with. So here we have a wonderful blend of, as I say, real-life personages in these fantastic and very glorious types of setups that are meant to be magical and poetic, and meant to, as I say, give us this festival-like atmosphere as to the representation of the glory of cinema. So truth and fiction provided to us with this delight and relish and great sense of energy from Agnes Varda. So in that way, this is not just not only a great celebration of cinema, but it also serves as a great, consistent film in the context of the overall body of work of Agnes Varda, in my opinion. Also, of course, we get, as I say, so many references to Agnes Varda's works, so that also makes this film very relevant to her filmography. And I should say also that Agnes Varda is, of course, someone who has made her life in cinema. She loves cinema. She has expressed her love of cinema. And so this film 101 Nights seems to be also to be a further representation of that love of cinema by Agnès Varda. So it's not just the film giving us, the viewers, the opportunity to celebrate cinema, but it's also giving us, the viewers, the opportunity to see how much Agnès Varda loves cinema. And you can tell there is so much love and care and dedication to everything. And you can tell that the smiles are genuine and real. There is an atmosphere of the poetic and the magical, and something in the air that makes this film feel so fun and so welcoming and heartwarming, which makes this film, for me also, I should say, one of my absolute favorites by Agnès Varda. And so I'm so happy that it's included as part of the set and presented in this way for everyone to see. Once again, this is 101 Nights. And with that, I should say that that's the only film that is presented on Program 11, but included with that film, we have so many great supplements. And so what do we have with this film and the supplements? The first is an 8-minute or so program from 2004, which is called A Fun Moment with Michel Piccoli. And as I said, Michel Piccoli plays Simon Cinema. And Michel Piccoli is someone who, he gives this great, a superb performance as this enigmatic, mysterious figure that is both real and a kind of metaphor. He is Simon Cinema, but also Michel Piccoli. And so there's so much wrapped and enveloped and represented vis-a-vis this character. So there's so much fascinating aspects to this. And so to get the interaction with Michel Piccoli and his comments about his view on the character as embodied in this particular supplement is it's so wonderful to see, and talking about the genesis and the basis from which this film came into being, as well as other comments. So it's a wonderful 2004 program called A Fun Moment with Michel Piccoli. But next we have Set Visits, which is described as being a compilation of behind-the-scenes footage, approximately 11 minutes in total. And this we have various components of this, focusing in on the different people that appear in this film, 101 Nights. As I said, this film includes a lot of very famous icons of cinema, either playing somewhat bigger roles, or maybe they appear as cameos. But whatever the case may be, there is a long list of people who appear. And so what's good about this particular supplement is that we get a little part where it actually goes through all the people that appear in this film. So if you want to keep track, this is a great place to check and to see exactly who appears. And there's their names are listed below, so you can double check who is who. So this is a wonderful reference tool in that respect. Also, it serves as a great behind-the-scenes, charming portrait into how these real-life actors and performers and icons of cinema are working with Agnès Varda, are just having fun, and Agnès Varda is having fun, and the like. So, and you can tell also that it's almost like you can tell also that these performers and actors have so much reverence and love and respect for Agnès Varda that they will do anything for her. And so you can sense this mutual respect and love all around, and that makes this supplement so fun to watch. So this is Set Visits. And then we have a trailer for the film 101 Nights, and it's a great trailer, so please check that out as well. But that's not all, because then we get another set of supplements. The next supplement is called Hands and Objects on Agnès Varda's Shorts, and it is also given the title Du coq à l'âne, which is from rooster to donkey. And this is from 2007, approximately 20 minutes. And this is described as being a 2007 conversation among Agnès Varda, filmmaker Anne Huet, and critic Alain Berlaga. And this is talking, in essence, about the short film works of Agnès Varda. Now, for those of you who have already been going through this particular set, the complete films of Agnès Varda, you will already know that we have seen thus far a number of short films by Varda, starting from the very beginnings of the set. Well, this particular supplement actually focuses in on a lot of the various short films that Agnès Varda has done, what her concerns were, various specific themes that she was concerned with for a particular film here and there. And so this short, therefore, serves as a wonderful journey and a wonderful primer, if you will, into the world of the short films of Agnès Varda. So this is a very valuable source of information with respect to that. It is also shot in a way that is very clever in terms of the use of the overhead shots and the hands and the discussion aspect. There's also, as I really love this as well, there is this great way that the conversation is paying so much care and attention to Agnès Varda and what it is she has to say. They have so much respect for Varda, and they give her room to speak and talk about herself and her films, which I admire tremendously. So that's another thing to admire about this. Also, what's so fascinating about this supplement is that at one point Varda says that she, I think very modestly, in a very positive way, denies that anything personal is reflected in her short films. And I actually think this is a very profound statement, because I would contend, in fact, that the opposite is true. And in fact, that she is expressing so much of herself in the short films and in the feature films, in fact, and her documentaries that we have seen thus far. But I love this comment that she makes, because it shows also this sense of modesty and the sense of earnestness about who she is and what her films are, and how truly intimate they are. I mean, they are so intertwined with Varda herself that I think this kind of comment makes for really fascinating conversation indeed. So all in all, this is a great, informative, and insightful short film to have and to watch on Varda's cinema, her short films, and also Varda herself. So well worth it. And also the wonderful description of the rooster and the donkey, and the distance in between them, and how this is a kind of metaphor for editing and cinema, but it's also a metaphor for curiosity and finding delight in the minutia and the detail and the idiosyncratic and the unique and the individual. And this, I think, embodies so wholly and so truly the essence of what makes Varda so wonderful and beautiful filmmaker. So all in all, splendid supplement. So approximately 20 minutes. And then we continue on with a section which is called Unfinished Varda. This is so fascinating. This section of Unfinished Varda includes two subsections. First is a subsection called Films, and the second is a subsection called Commercials 1971. The first subsection, Films, includes two subsections, each of which is devoted to a particular film that remained unfinished, or unfinished project by Agnès Varda. The first is from 1960, which is called La Mélangite, and the second is 1966, Christmas Carol. And so the first the first of these unfinished projects, as presented here, is shown in some footage and also some explanatory notes at the beginning, plus some a discussion by Varda that is recorded over the footage itself, so we can hear her words and the explanation as to what this project could have been, what her plans were in terms of the story and the use of actors or various actors for the same role, which is another fascinating aspect, and what eventually happened that made this project in fact an unfinished project. So we get all that information in this particular sub-segment. The other film unfinished project here, Christmas Carol, is a collection. There are some explanatory notes at the beginning as to what the background was for the project and what eventually happened to it. And then there is a collection of some scenes that we see, and we note also the young Gérard Depardieu as well. So very interesting and fascinating stuff. And indeed, perhaps that marks a nice connection, if you will, between this particular supplement and the film that is the feature here, which is 101 Nights. So all in all, this is another fascinating avenue of Varda's cinema, her unfinished projects, as it were, and we get a glimpse of these and the ideas and the concepts that she was focusing in on with these particular projects in mind. So these are, again, so insightful and a wonderful source of further illumination as to the type of artist Varda is. But that's not all, because this section also includes, as I say, a subsection called Commercials 1971, and this features two commercials, Collant Minuit and Tupperware. So we have one which is a pantyhose commercial and another Tupperware commercial. These are very charming, very delightful, with some catchy musical jingles to boot. And the very interesting use of camera work and positioning of actors and the like. So we get another sense of the energetic and the verve and the grace that is Agnès Varda. Whether she is making cinema or whether she's making commercials, she is still Agnès Varda, the artist. So these are also very interesting to explore. And with that, that rounds out the supplements included in Program 11, Simone Cinema. So once again, in closing, this particular film, 101 Nights, is one of my absolute favorite films by Varda. It is so much fun. It is a film lover's delight, and one will never grow tired of it, because there are so many secrets and references and little Easter eggs and the like that make this film a great one for watch and rewatch again. Again, highly recommended for anyone who is a lover of cinema. And plus, we get these great supplements related to related to 101 Nights, but also we get the short film aspect of Varda, and also we get the unfinished projects of Varda. So we get further insight into this great artist, this great figure of cinema that is Agnès Varda in this Program 11, Simone Cinema. Okay, my friends, so that's it for now. And so until we meet again, please be happy and healthy and well, and please keep on watching a lot of great movies. Thank you so much, as always, for your time. I really appreciate it. Stay strong, stay safe, and cheers.